So I'm about to show you how I saved hundreds of dollars on a 14-day transatlantic cruise by doing the one thing that some travelers think is crazy. It wasn't bringing a roommate, it wasn't eating ramen for 2 weeks, and I definitely didn't skip the fun. I actually had more money to do the things that really mattered to me. And by the end of this video, you're going to wonder why you spent extra money on a balcony. But first, let me tell you something that will blow your mind. I worked for a major cruise line for over 3 years in customer service, and I booked thousands of cruises and staterooms. And you know who booked inside cabins? It wasn't the newbies. It wasn't the people who didn't know what to do. It was the frequent cruisers, the ones that had cruised 30, 50, hundreds of cruises. But before I reveal that secret, please gently tap that like button so that we can get this out to more women planning their retirement. It helps more than you think. So the inside cabin strategy that nobody talks about. Here's what I discovered. Inside cabins are not downgrades, they are strategy. So think about it. When you're booking an ocean view or balcony stateroom, you're paying hundreds and thousands of dollars more. For what? A window that you'll look out a few times a day? A balcony that you'll sit on for 20 minutes in the morning to have coffee? A window that you'll glance out of at night? In the meantime, at breakfast, you're at the buffet or main dining. At lunchtime, you're back having something to eat. You've taken in a few trivia game shows or done some other fun things on deck, maybe some exercise at the gym. But then in the afternoon, you're probably poolside. Later, you have shows. Then you're dining again, maybe ending up by taking a nice stroll around the deck, looking at the stars. And then you get back. So let me ask you, how much time did you actually spend in that balcony? And we're not even talking about excursion days, right? Then you're not even there. So on my first cruise with my family, I booked 2 connecting balcony staterooms, and they were beautiful and comfortable. And that balcony was wonderful, especially it was our first cruise, so we were out there looking for dolphins and enjoying it. But as the cruise went on, we realized we spent less and less time in the room. And then I started to feel kind of guilty. It's like I paid a lot to have that upgrade, right? And I wasn't spending any time there, and neither were the kids or my husband. So then you think, well, maybe I should go sit on the balcony and read my book instead of be by the pool. Well, of course, I'd rather be by the pool, right? Really, it just kind of ate at me a little bit that I wasn't enjoying the extra money that I spent to have that balcony stateroom. And it was actually a little noisy with other people on their balconies. And, you know, the outside is there, and sometimes it's quiet and sometimes it's not. So let's compare that to my 14-day cruise as a solo traveler going from Miami to Lisbon. I booked that inside stateroom, and at night I slept like a baby. Then I showered, and then I went to have breakfast out on the deck. And my day started from there. Since I'm not paying for that extra luxury, I don't feel guilty. I just enjoy the cruise and have a great place to sleep. So every day I spent exactly as I wanted. I got up, I got out of there, I was at the buffet in the morning, sitting outside on the deck, I was at shows during the day, I of course had lunch again, then there was pool time, and then going back to get dressed up for the main dining room. And after that, there were shows, and I always like to end the day going out on the deck to see the stars. So then I was back to the room, and really, that was about it. The room was for sleeping, and the ship was for fun. So here's where it gets interesting. The inside staterooms are the quietest places on the ship. If you book strategically, and I'll show you how, you would choose a stateroom that has other staterooms on all sides. You know, front, back, top and bottom, and as far away from theaters and restaurants and stairways, and there are interior stairways also on ships that you have to look at the deck plan to see, because the crew uses those and sometimes those can be a little noisy too. Another thing, don't let the cruise line choose your stateroom unless you're a really good sailor. So generally with those assigned ones, yes, you save a little bit of money, but they will put you anywhere. And sometimes they even move you from one to another. Once it's assigned, a lot of times you can call into customer service and they can assign you within that same category that you're in. So you might want to check if you look at it and you're like right next to the stairs. So your room should be your sleep sanctuary. You want to be in a place where you don't hear chairs being pulled across the deck making scraping sounds. You don't want to be near a nightclub where you can hear the bass, you know, thumping. You want it to be just you, your pillow, and that blackout sound and darkness that makes you sleep like a baby. Another interesting thing is that because it is dark and quiet, your body thinks it's midnight all the time. It just goes there to sleep, and it's like the perfect sleeping experience. And I think a lot of that has to do with the rocking of the ship. So when it's dark and quiet and you're being rocked like a lullaby, it's hard to stay awake. I got some of the best sleep I think I've ever had. And when I woke up, I was energized, which is how you want to be, and very important because there's a lot to do, especially when you have like excursion days and a lot of walking and you're excited, right? So good to be excited with a lot of energy. So the bottom line is that the cheapest rooms on the ship give you the best sleep. I had heard that from customers who had called in to book their stateroom, and they were saying, oh, we just love to get inside staterooms because you sleep so well. And honestly, I didn't quite believe them, but now I do. So another thing that people fear is that it's too small. They might get claustrophobic. And honestly, that was also one of my concerns. But the truth is that the room is very functional. So my inside stateroom had everything I needed. It had a full-size closet, it had a nice big bed, it had nightstands and a vanity desk type of built-in that had drawers and shelves. So I had plenty of space for my stuff. And it had a nice bathroom, you know, typical on a ship. It was compact, but luxurious still. Of course, the cruise lines know this is going to be a small room and they want it to be a good experience. So they do make it as nice as they can. And I thought it was wonderful. Like I said, great sleep, great room, and I got out and enjoyed that cruise. So there's a booking strategy that saves even more money. So here's a trick from my cruise line days that a lot of people don't talk about, or maybe more people should talk about, let's put it that way. So you can book a cruise far in advance. And honestly, my Transatlantic cruise, I booked it for myself as a Christmas present in December of 2023. And that cruise was spring of 2025. The nice thing is that you can just put your deposit down. You don't have to make any other payment before the cruise deadline. So what you want to do is book early and reprice constantly. That was a lot of the excitement of being a customer service person for a cruise line, is that when there was a sale, especially one with onboard credit, you can call and reprice. And you can choose to have the customer service person reprice for you, and then you can decide to go ahead and take the new price or take the old one. That can save you hundreds of dollars. So for solo travelers, nice thing is you can hold your room for just your deposit. It's a deposit for one person. And most rooms, there are some rooms on board ships that are just for one person. Most are for two but you can hold a room for two with just one person. So there's another option if you're not quite sure that you feel comfortable booking an inside stateroom. There are some ships that have, I think it's Royal Caribbean, I don't know if other cruise lines have it or not, but they have virtual balconies. So really what it is an inside stateroom. And they have this LED screen that's like the size of a door, and it gets feed from a camera up on top of the ship that shows you where we're at. So you would see sunrise, you would see sunset, you would get to see the port, you would get to see the ocean. It's just like having a window, but actually it's a little bit better because the position of the camera, they have it at an optimal spot where it has a good view of everything. And you can turn it off at night. The virtual balconies, I think they do price them a little bit higher than a regular inside stateroom, but it's going to be quite a bit less than an ocean view or an actual balcony, and you get the benefit of both. Win, win, win. Inside stateroom sleep and a view of the outside. So bottom line, if you're cruising on a budget like I was, you want to stretch every dollar. And this is one of the biggest wins of your vacation budget. Repositioning cruises with inside staterooms can be very economical, let's say. I think mine ran less than $100 a day, which when you think of being somewhere like that, where you're relaxing, where you're getting to do all those fun things, getting some pool time, meals included, really is such a bargain. And it's such a great way to relax. Some people are a little leery of going on such a long cruise, but I've been on 2 of them now, and it is amazing how relaxed you can be. Every day is another feeling of just unwinding a little bit more, and you get to day 8 or day 10 and you are just so relaxed. It's such a wonderful feeling, and really you've cut yourself off from the world in some ways, which is a wonderful thing. So I would recommend it. Give it a try at least once. So skip the balcony, book that inside cabin, spend that extra money on specialty dining, excursions, drink package, because you're not going to be in that room. You don't need your room to be a destination. You have the ship as the destination, you have your journey as a destination. Those are the things that are going to keep you busy, are going to be entertaining. And inside stateroom is a great place to just chill and sleep and make the most of your cruise. If this video helped you see inside staterooms a little differently, please hit the like button, and also if you talk to somebody who's planning your cruise, maybe share the video with them. Especially new people don't realize all the different options that are available. Subscribe if you want to explore more retirement lifestyle opportunities. Now go ahead and look at some repositioning cruises. I saw one yesterday for less than $1,000 going from the East Coast to Europe. Book early, put that deposit down, and your future self will thank you. Take care, stay positive, and thanks for being here.